Hi guys, today we will talk about a very interesting topic, which is how do startups exactly get acquired? Because I strongly believe startups don't get sold, they get bought. So first, a bit about my own startup acquisition journey. I used to run a company called Cogno AI that was acquired by Exotel, one of the leading cloud telephony providers. It was acquired for several millions of dollars. That completely changed my life. And in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the lessons that I learned in this journey of get my startup getting acquired. First and foremost, the headline slide, which was also mentioned in the opening slide of the video, that startups do not get bought, they always get sold. You don't go out in the market to say, I have the startup, I want to sell it out, please buy me. People will get freaked out. They will not be sure that why do you want to sell, right? Usually what happens is some larger company who finds value in their product or value in your customer base or value in your team, they approach you and they try to buy you out. How do you find such people? These companies usually are the companies who are your channel partners, they are your integration partners. So for example, for us, it was very simple. Exotel was into voice, we were into chat. For them, it made sense to buy us out because they can then add chat capabilities to their existing voice product. Right, so you can start tracking some of these companies at about $500,000 worth of revenue, which is roughly 4 to 5 crore rupees per year. So this is the second point, which is you sell when you actually don't want to sell. Usually, for example, I'll give you my example actually. We sold Cogno AI at a point when we were not interested in selling and we were not really looking for an exit. Exotel approached us and they were behind us to buy us out because they were very interested in our product. It was a very strong product with great presence in the financial services sector. And this is why we could negotiate a very reasonable price, very good price for our business because we did not want to sell. Imagine someone not giving a good price. We can just say, fine, I don't want to sell. We'll talk later, right? Now, some important points that I want to talk about. So firstly, keep your books and accounts very, very clean. I've seen smaller startups having very messy books, their revenue recognition, invoicing, payments, everything is all messed up, especially on the expense side. My chartered accountant has been very, very diligent with me. He used to tell me that even for a 10 rupees worth of expense from company account, I need an invoice. It's a little extra, but our due diligence during the acquisition of my startup was done by Deloitte. And even though we were just a 4-year-old company, bootstrapped with no institutional investors, the books and accounts were so clean that Deloitte could not find even a single problem in our due diligence process. So that gives a lot of confidence to the acquiring company that you have run the business professionally, because usually these larger, well-funded companies, they want that all their acquired companies are also run very professionally. Next, own a hard market. So what we did was very simple. At Cogno, we had cornered the India financial services market for the chatbot based product. We had more than 50 large BFSI clients, State Bank, Kotak, ICICI, a bunch of other companies who were our customers. So apart from our product being very strong, our market positioning was also very attractive for the buyer. Next is the best revenue range to sell. I always tell the founders that the sweet spot is roughly when you are between $1 million to $5 million per year in revenue. Below $1 million in revenue, your product market fit is not proven. People may doubt whether your product even works or not. And above $5 million, you start becoming expensive. At a $5 million revenue range, if you put a 10x or even 15x, multiplier on top of your revenue, your price becomes very expensive. Yeah. This point is important, which is to negotiate maximum cash. Even for Cogno AI's acquisition by Exotel, we negotiated a good amount of cash because you're already holding equity in your company. It makes no sense for you to forget all the hard work you have done so far and again risk all of that into the equity of the acquiring company. Uh, what I also negotiated with Exotel is that, look, I need cash for the exit of where we have brought business until this point. And going ahead, you give me additional equity so that I have the skin in the game and I have the upside to travel the journey from here. But I want to de-risk my journey from what I started in college up until this point, what we have built. So that's how we negotiated cash. And I think it's only a fair ask because that money changed my life completely. Growth earns a premium. The faster you are growing, the higher the price you can command. I'm sure everybody understands that, right? Actually, what I've heard is there is a rule of 40 which says that your growth percentage, the year on year growth, and your EBITDA percentage, if you add both of them, that should be more than or equal to 40%. So let me explain simply. If you are growing 40% year on year and you're not profitable, that is okay. If you are growing 20% year on year, then you should have additional 20% profit margin for the total to be more than 40. Or if you are growing 60% year on year and losing 20% EBITDA negative, that's okay, right? So if you're a bootstrap startup, then not making money is not an option. You have to earn profits. But yes, growth always earns a premium. Yes, the last point, investor relations matter a lot. So at Cogno AI, we were completely bootstrapped, but even then we had strong relationships with various venture capital funds. How our acquisition happened was that one of the VC funds who we reached out to for a general conversation, they eventually invested in Exotel and they mediated the whole transaction. So yes, that's about it. I hope this helps you learn more about how startups get acquired and how to position and prepare your startup for acquisition. Thank you.